Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am Danae Wolf. I'm a profit strategist and financial clarity coach. So I help entrepreneurs understand their numbers so that they can make operational improvements in their business to help them make more money. I truly believe that if you don't know what's going on in your bank account, you don't know what's going on in your business. So I want to make sure that you understand all the things when it comes to business finance. Now, a question I get asked a lot is, how do I use QuickBooks Online? There is a ton of confusion that comes along with this software, and I wholeheartedly believe in it. I think it's such a great tool and resource for business owners. So I wanted to set up a training series. So over the next couple of weeks, we are going to be diving into all things QBO. So today's training is all about the setup, the very first steps you have to do in order to make sure that QBO is working for you and your business. So the first thing that I want you to do before we even get into QBO is to gather all of your usernames and passwords for all of your financial institutions. So what do I mean when I say that? Your business checking account, your business savings account, your business credit cards, your business maybe liability, a line of credit you have at the bank or a business loan, any type of institution that you have a financial account set up with. I want you to get all of the usernames, all of the passwords, and all of the website links and put them in one safe place. The last thing I want to have happen is for you to get into QBO and you have all this momentum going, and then we're at the part where we connect the banking institutions and you're like, I don't know my username and password, I'm locked out. And now you're kind of derailed and losing that momentum. So before we even get into QBO, we are going to get organized and gather all of this information. Now, you can store it right in a Google Sheet or a Microsoft Excel document, or just in a Google Doc, whatever is going to work for you. But I really recommend LastPass. LastPass is 100% free, and it's just a really great tool that helps you organize all of the website links and your usernames and passwords. But at minimum, guys, write it down in a notebook. I don't care where you put it. I just want you to have it easily accessible in whatever manner is going to work for you. Now, let's say that you already have QuickBooks Online, right? Maybe you're coming to me today and you have QuickBooks Online and you do have all of your banking institutions already connected, right? I still want you to make sure that you have all your usernames and passwords in a safe place. But if you have QBO and you're coming from a place of you need to do a cleanup job, right? The other thing I want you to do is organize your statements. So what happens if we're connecting QuickBooks Online, we can only go back, I believe it's 90 days, like 3 months. So the rest of the statements we're going to have to manually import, which I will, of course, go over with you and show you how to do it. But we're going to need the statement. So I just want to make sure that you guys not only have access to your financial institutions, but that you know how to access your bank statements so we can have those all organized. The other thing to have is you should have access to your logo, your EIN number, and you should know your accounting method. I don't want to get too deep into what the accounting method is, but I'll give you kind of a high-level overview and strongly suggest that you do consult with your specific accountant. Hashtag not your CPA. So please make sure that you speak directly with them to find out what best suits your business model. But high level, there's two methods for accounting. So we have the cash method and we have the accrual method. Cash method means that you are reporting transactions onto your profit and loss as they are happening in real time. So if your electric bill is debited from your bank account on August 5th, that is when it goes onto your profit and loss. However, if you are using the accrual method and you received that electric bill, say on July 20th, that bill is going to go as an expense onto your profit and loss on July 20th, as opposed to August 5th, which is when it actually came out of the bank account. There are various reasons why businesses would work with, either method. A lot of the bigger corporations, it is mandated that they are accrual method. So most small businesses tend to be cash. But again, please consult with your direct CPA. Once we are kind of equipped with all of this information now, right? We know our logo, our EIN, our accounting method, and we have access to all of our financial institutions and all of our statements for our financial institutions. we can now head over to QBO. Now, in the description and in the comments, I do have a link for you guys to go to QBO and set up your subscription. Full disclaimer, it is an affiliate link, so I will be getting a small cash reward if you guys do use my link, but feel free to use whatever link you are comfortable with. Now, the next step is to decide which version of QBO makes the most sense for you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you and just start walking you through the different types. So if you head over to QBO, you are going to, which is just quickbooks.intuit.com. But again, I do have a link in the comments. You're going to see the different versions. So there is also a self-employed version. It is so minimum with what you can do in it. I'm not even going to be discussing it on today's video, but you know, there is another option that exists called self-employed. But for today's purposes, we're going to talk about these 4 options. We have Simple Start, Essentials, Plus, and Advanced. The most popular is Plus. I would say 99% of my clients are on Plus. But after that, Essentials is definitely the second most popular one. Now, if we look at the Simple Start, the differences between these 4 options are, one of them is dealing with how many users can access it. So if you have Simple Start, you can only have 1 user. So you might be in a situation where someone in your team or maybe a spouse is also working in your QuickBooks Online and making updates, in which case, right off the bat, Simple Start is not going to work for you. You're going to move up to Essentials, which allows you to have multiple users. It also allows you to track time. So if you are, paying employees or contractors or anything like that, and you want to make sure that you have the ability to track hours worked, Essentials is going to be the better bet for you. You can also manage your bills in Essentials, which most entrepreneurs are going to have bills in their business. So this is a very good option as well. Now, if you move up to QBO Plus, you are able to go up to 5 users, but the big difference is that you are going to be able to track project profitability. Now, this is something that is only going to apply to a select few of you. So this is essentially job costing. So if you're in a situation where you want to be able to see per client, per job, per project, what all of the expenses are that were associated with it, so you could see how profitable each project is, you're going to want to go with Plus. Essentials or Simple Start is not going to work for you. Now, if you have inventory, okay, you're also going to want to go with Plus because you're going to be able to track inventory if you have the Plus option, and you can't do that with the other 2. Now, QBO Advanced, our final option over here, this is the Mac Daddy of QBO. So for most of you, this is probably going to be a little bit too robust, but if you want all of the bells and whistles, let me explain some of the perks. So all of these options in the Plus and in the Essentials, not with the Simple Start, but you have the ability to manage your bills. But when you get to Advanced, you can manage and pay bills, which means that with the click of a button, you can actually pay your bills right within QBO. It also allows you to go up to 25 users. Most of you, if I know my audience well, you guys do not need 25 people using your QBO. It also allows you to have smart reporting through Fathom, which is just going to be a more robust reporting platform. And it does have accelerated invoicing. Again, this is not something that most of you are going to use. It has customer user permissions, and then it does have extra support. So it does have a premier level of support in case you guys need that. So what you would do is select the option for you. You're going to hit buy now, and then you are going to walk through all of the setup options. So you're going to have to put in an email address, your number, your password, and then you are going to move to billing. So what I'm going to do next is just walk you through a demo account. I'm not going to actually be putting in my billing information and setting up a QBO account. I, of course, already have a QBO account. So I'm going to take you into a demo account. So everything in here is fake. So don't worry that I'm showing you a real client's books or anything like that. But I just kind of want to use this to walk you through a lot of things about QBO and how we initially set it up. So you go through these prompts here so that you can set it up. It's the next screen asks you for your billing information. And then after that, it's sort of like a setup wizard. It's going to ask you a series of questions. So it's very easy to work through this initial sort of setup. It's going to be very easy questions to answer. And then you are going to get right into your QBO account. So this is the demo account that I was talking about. And what I'm going to do is walk you through various setup that needs to be done. And just so that it's easier for you, I will go back to full screen. So at the gear icon, we want to head over to our account and settings. So in our account and settings, there are various things that we want to make sure that we set up. So remember I said about making sure you have your logo? Right here is where you are going to add your logo. You're going to put your company name and you are going to put your company legal name. So let's just say in my situation, right? I am the Chic CFO. So this is what I want client facing, right? This is what is going to be in my invoices and displaying for my clients. Then I'm going to do my legal name, which is actually Wolf Management LLC. Then I have the option to put my EIN or my social security number. So depending on how your business is structured, you may be running off of your social security number or you may be running off of your EIN. I am running off my EIN, so I would type in my EIN right here and then I'm going to hit save. The next thing that it asks you is to choose your type of entity. So I happen to be an LLC, so I would select that, but maybe you are a sole prop or you are a nonprofit. You're just going to select, what you are in there. And then it does ask you for your industry. So, whatever, I'll write finance and put it there and hit save. Then it asks you for your email address, and then you might want a customer-facing email address. So you have your email address that you want QuickBooks to correspond with you on, and then maybe you have a different email address that your clients contact you on, and this, of course, would be what would go on the invoices. Then you put your company phone and your website. Again, this is all extremely self-explanatory type stuff, and all you do to answer these questions is you hit the pencil icon. The next section asks for your address. And again, it gives you the option to put your address for QBO, but then give you a customer facing address. So anything that says customer facing, these are options you're choosing that are going to be on your invoices. So your actual clients are going to be able to see this information. So that might be, for some of you, a bit different than the information you want to actually share with QBO. Over here, we're going to be able to see our usage limits. So again, depending on the type of QBO subscription you chose, remember we talked about how many users you could have. This is where you would track that information. The next category is sales. So if you are going to be using QuickBooks Online for your invoicing, you are going to want to make sure that you customize the invoice to your liking. So there's all kinds of stuff we can do in here. We can add our logo. We can choose a different template, right? Based on simply the aesthetics that you would like. You can do some color options here. I mean, there are all kinds of things that you can do here. You can change the content as to what actually shows up on your invoice. And then you can create canned emails. So what I mean by canned emails is you can customize the email that accompanies your invoice. So every time you send an invoice to your customer, you can make sure that the email says exactly what you want it to. You can write it once and save it. This way we're working efficiently and we don't have to rewrite that email every time that we send an invoice. So again, this is for those of you who want to use QBO invoicing. You know, you might have a different point of sale system that you use, and therefore you're not going to be using these options. But I just wanted to let you know that it is there and available for you in the accounts and settings. So that is going to be your options here within the sales section of your setup. So again, if you have, say, a product or a service, these are all things that we would be setting up in here if you want to use QuickBooks invoicing. Now, if QuickBooks invoicing is something that you guys are interested in, I can definitely do a tutorial specifically on this. So just leave me a comment and we can get that set up. The next option here has to do with bills and expenses if you are going to be using the billing option. And then our advanced settings, this is also where you would set it up if you were going to, say, use the merchant services of QBO. So if you are using the QuickBooks invoicing, I do recommend that you explore their merchant services. But of course, you could use QBO invoices and then use maybe a Stripe or, you know, a different merchant service. I am a firm believer of having everything just be really efficient. So I like everything under one roof. So again, in the gear icon, account and settings, that is where you are going to be setting up all of that kind of behind the scenes stuff of QuickBooks Online. And it is important that you would know if you wanted to use QuickBooks invoicing. And again, let me know if you guys want a tutorial on that. So now that we've kind of set up our initial settings, the next thing that I want you guys to do is head over on the left-hand side to accounting, and I want you to go to chart of accounts. Now, it is really important that you customize your chart of accounts for your business. So the first thing that I want you guys to do is take a look at that spreadsheet we made with all of your financial institutions. And we are going to add them into our chart of accounts. So right here, we are going to hit new. And let's select bank. And let's say, again, this is just a demo. So let's say we're just going to say you have a Wells Fargo account. We're going to say we have a Wells Fargo checking, and let's say it ends in 1500. And we're going to go ahead and hit save and close. Now let's say that we have a Wells Fargo business savings account. Say Wells Fargo savings, and let's say that it ends 0500. Totally just making this stuff up, guys. And now let's say that we've added both of our bank accounts. Now let's say we also have a credit card. So now let's go to new. And in the account type, instead of selecting bank, we are now going to select credit card. And let's say the credit card is a Discover card and it is ending in 2255. So now that you have created an account in your chart of accounts for all of your financial institutions, I want you to think about how you want to report information onto your profit and loss statement. So let's take a look at a profit and loss statement so that this will make a bit more sense. So I'm going to pull this profit and loss, and I want to show you their income. So if you take a look on income, you can see that they've broken it down to design income and then discounts given. And then they have landscaping services. So that's their landscaping services. So, and then they have job materials and different things listed here. But my point is in showing you this is that you are able to take your income and you're able to break it down. So you may be a business that has simply one service offering. So if you only offer one service, then you know that all of your sales can simply go into services. But let's say you have multiple services and you actually want to break them down on your profit and loss. Then what I want you to do is head over to new. We are going to select income. And then we are going to select whether it is sales of product income. Maybe you're a product-based business and this is your product income you're going to be reporting. Or maybe you are services. So let's just select services. And now maybe you say, I don't know what you're, so we're going to say service A, right? And we're going to go ahead and save it. And now let's say we go back in and we're going to do our income. We're going to go back to services, and now we're going to do services, service B. So now when we are categorizing things, which we will get into in a later training, we have an account set up for service A and service B. So without getting too far ahead of ourselves, I just want to point out that if we are categorizing something in our bank feeds, which this will all make sense in a later training, you have the option to say, hey, this deposit made into my bank came from service A. This deposit came from service B. So now when we pull our profit and loss, we are able to see that maybe you had $10,000 worth of sales last month, and you can see that $2,000 of it came from service A and $8,000 of it came from service B. Now, I just want to point out that this is getting pretty micro. It's not something that you have to do, okay? A lot of you will be working with a point of sale software where you're able to pull those reports and see the breakdown of services. So it's not really necessary to also have it reporting in QBO. But maybe you're going to get so micro that you want to see this is service A, this is service B income, and you're even going to break down your expenses to show service A expenses and service B. It is completely up to you how you want to do it. I am a big believer of keeping our finances as simple as possible so that you actually keep up with it. So maybe if you're breaking down service A and service B and their expenses, it might be something you want to do if you have a bookkeeper or some type of a professional working on your books. And if it's just you, I tend to recommend keeping it more simplistic. But let's take a look in the chart of accounts of what we can do for our expenses. We just reviewed how we're going to set up various accounts for our income, but now let's take a look at our expenses. So let's say that we're going to select the account type. It's going to be an expense. And let's say for advertising and promotional, maybe you really want to see your profit and loss statement broken down on specific types of advertising you're doing. So in that situation, we're going to go to sub account. We're going to select advertising. And we are going to create an account of social media ads. Then let's say the next type of marketing you have, go back and select expense. It's going to be a sub-account of advertising. Let's say this one is going to be print ads. Maybe you ran some stuff in a magazine or something like that. So now we have the ability in here to really decide, what do we want this profit and loss to look like? And I'll go in and again show you a sample here. So we can see that in this example of the profit and loss, advertising is all in one bucket, so to speak, $74.86. Well, we have the ability to break it down further so that we can see, here's our social media marketing. Here is our print marketing. And again, all of this customization takes place in accounting, chart of accounts. That's where you would create accounts that are visible on the profit and loss. So right now we can see that there is an account that says decks and patios, right? Let's say we want to customize this. Let's go into our chart of account and look at it. And we want it to actually say decks and patios. And I don't know, what's something else that pools. Let's hit save and close. So now when we pull our profit and loss, I just want to show you guys how this kind of all affects your reporting. Now you have decks and patios and pools. So the idea with the chart of accounts is that you want to customize it to your needs. You want to ask yourself, how do I want to see my financials laid out? When it comes to your office expenses, is it important that You can see this was office supplies, this was software. Maybe software is something that you want to see as its own line item on your profit and loss. Or maybe you don't care, that's not important to you, so you're just going to put it all as an office expense. The point is you can customize it as much as you want. And again, to do that, all we're going to do is go to our accounting chart of accounts, and we can customize these accounts. We can create new accounts. We can get as micro as we'd like. So that is the next thing that I would have you do, is customize this chart of accounts. So now we've created our financial accounts, right? And we've customized our income and expenses based on our needs. The final step for setup is to head over to banking. And what you're going to do here is hit link account. When you hit link account, you are going to be able to connect your financial institutions. So this is, again, a demo account, so we're not going to want to actually connect any real financial institutions, but it's very easy. You simply go link account. You select your banking institution. So if it's Wells Fargo, you would type in Wells Fargo, it'll pop up, and then you literally log in with your username and password from your bank, which is why I asked you in the beginning to gather all of your usernames and passwords. Now, what will happen is when you go to link account, you access Wells Fargo, and you type in your username and password, what QBO is going to do is it's going to show you all of your Wells Fargo accounts. So you might have your business checking, your business savings, and then maybe you also have your personal accounts. You do not want to connect your personal accounts. You're just going to connect your business accounts. So what it's going to do is it's going to ask you, what account do you want to connect this to within QBO? So you're going to select the Wells Fargo business checking account, and then you are going to connect it to the QuickBooks Online account that you created in your chart of accounts. So in this situation for our demo, we did the Wells Fargo business checking account. We're going to select that. Then when it comes to the Wells Fargo business savings, we're going to select the QBO Wells Fargo business savings account that we created. And you select those QBO accounts, and then you hit import. Now it will ask you the date that you want to import from. Again, depending on when you're setting it up, when you've had your business accounts, I don't know how much historical cleanup you guys have to do, but you're going to want to select the date. But there is typically a cutoff of how far back QuickBooks Online can go. So once you have everything set up, you would go connected, you would go into your bank account, and now we would have these accounts here. So for our demo purposes, let's say this is our Wells Fargo, checking account. So it would say, instead of saying checking, it's going to say whatever we created here in our chart of accounts. It was like Wells Fargo business checking. Then we'd have the Wells Fargo savings, and then we would have the Discover credit card, because we would have connected that as well. Once these are all in QuickBooks and connected, we are then able to tackle the bank feeds. The bank feeds are where we are going to pick up on lesson 2. So to recap, today we learned how to choose the correct version of QBO for our business. We learned how to go into settings and set everything up. And again, if you do want to use QBO with invoicing, there's a lot more customization we can dive into there. So please let me know in the comments if you guys would like a training on that. And then we learned how to customize our chart of accounts, with realizing that what we put in the chart accounts is what is going to go onto the profit and loss. That is what's going to be the line items and how your financials are going to be displayed to you. And then we covered how to connect all of our financial institutions. So I hope you guys got a lot out of this training today, and I hope you are excited for next week, where we are going to be diving into what to do now that you have everything connected in QuickBooks Online. So until next week, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.